What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Manbitesfilm, episode 56. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Brandon. Joining me is the regular lovely crew. We got William over here.
Hello, everybody. How you guys doing?
And my not-so-lovely cousin, Lewis.
Hey. Again with the not-so-lovely?
Oh, did I say that last time?
To everybody who has survived the Fuck Your Feelings weekend.
Yes.
Not going to spoil it for anybody. But...
So as always, if you guys are joining us for the first time, or if you're not, we are a weekly movie podcast where we get together weekly and we talk about movie news. We review one movie together, and at the end we review our individual movies. And we have a new segment, the movie bucket list. So this week, instead of having our news, we're gonna do something a little different because of Endgame. We're actually gonna go through our top 10 Marvel films. Each of us has our own top 10, and we're gonna go 10 all the way down to 1. So, Lewis, I guess go first. Which one's your 10?
My number 10 is Endgame.
Oh wow, you put that really low on your list. Okay, interesting. Okay, all right. So Lewis is the one that brought up this idea. So how do you want to do this? Do you want to elaborate on why it's everything?
Endgame, I thought it was good. There was problems with the pacing, I thought, and I think that it did a good job of doing what the first Avengers did, and that's bringing everybody together and bringing all these storylines together. But it did have a lot of faults. I think Captain Marvel was in there very little, and it was kind of a random character that I thought we could have used her a lot more in the film. But the sequences were fucking brilliant.
Spoilers. Cut that out. Okay. My number 10 is Iron Man 3. The reason I like Iron Man 3, spoilers, I have no other Iron Mans in my top 10. This is my favorite Iron Man movie. I know, shoot me. Most people say that Iron Man 1 is the best. I like Iron Man 3 because of the whole PTSD element to it, because this one takes place after the original Avengers, that he basically has PTSD because he goes through the portal to get the nuke off of Earth. And I like just the dynamic of Tony with his PTSD, and then the relationship that he has with the kid in the movie. And also I think the Mandarin is a really interesting villain. So yeah, it's my number 10. William?
Cool. My number 10 is Infinity War.
That's my number 11.
Okay.
I mean, I enjoyed it, but like, as we go through this list, you'll see like it's a great movie. There's nothing wrong with the movie. It's just like there are 9 ahead, which given the option, like the way that I made my list was, if somebody says, let's watch this movie versus this movie, which one would I want to watch first? And that's how I did my list. But Infinity War, it's nice. It's a great setup for Endgame. I think it's because it's so fresh that it hasn't really, like, it's beaten out other movies, but it hasn't really become a classic MCU for me yet.
Okay. Compared
to the other setup movies or the other ones that are going to be coming. So yeah, that's where I put it.
Sweet. Okay. My number 9 is Guardians of the Galaxy.
The first one or the second one?
The first one. I really enjoy this movie. I love the what do you call it, buddy cop type of approach to the film. I really, really enjoy the characters. The soundtrack is freaking epic. I still listen to that soundtrack in my car all the time. That's how good it is. I really enjoy this movie. It's honestly a fun movie. And you'll see in my list, moving down further, most of my movies are really fun movies to watch.
Okay.
So, yep.
Okay. My number 9 is Guardians 2, actually.
Nice.
Yeah. Guardians 2 was fun. Not as fun as Guardians 1, so spoilers, that's going to be coming soon for me. Yeah, I just thought it was more of the Guardians, which are all great characters. The relationship between all of them is fantastic and really funny. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I will shut my phone off in a second. And yeah, it's just more of what I wanted. But of course, since it's not the original, it kind of loses some of its magic. But that doesn't mean that it's a bad movie. It's my number 9. So yeah, William.
My number 9 is Ultron.
Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought that.
Wait, you enjoyed? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to shit on your list or anything. You enjoyed Age of Ultron over Infinity War?
I did, and the reason why I enjoyed it over Infinity War is because Age of Ultron was really like the first, what I would consider darker MCU movie, where, okay. I mean, there's also like, there's the creation of Vision, but like when you listen to Ultron, it's kind of just like the whole, it's like, yes, there is a lot of, a lot of comical parts. Mm-hmm. For the most part, it's like when like they're all together and it's like shit's getting real. Like shit is, you know what I mean? Like at this point, this was like the most real that he had gotten to that point. And then the repercussions that come from Age of Ultron, which eventually then also lead to Infinity War, but then it leads to Civil War and everything else. There's so much attachment to these movies throughout the rest of the MCU. Yeah. That the effect level to me, I mean, obviously Infinity War was on a global and multi-universe scale, but and I love oh my god, I can't think of his name right now, but the guy that voices Ultron.
I think it's David Spader, is it?
No, James Spader. James Spader. Yeah. I love James Spader, and I think he does a wonderful job voicing him.
Yes, he does. I would agree. He does a phenomenal job of voicing Ultron. Lewis, what is your number 8?
My number 8 is Captain Marvel. I'm
sorry.
I really enjoyed this movie.
I did not. I thought Captain Marvel was not bad, but I felt like it was just bleh.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun adventure movie. The only thing that I had a criticism about, and that's why it's number 8, is the what do you call it? What's his face? Oh my god, Samuel Jackson's face.
The CGI that they did to de-age him or whatever.
Yeah, that was
interesting.
Tarkin looked a lot better, and I was hoping they would have used the same technology. It didn't seem like it.
I would have to disagree with you. I think that Tarkin and Leia looked worse. They don't look bad, but I think that Fury or Samuel Jackson's face looks fine in this movie. I think the de-aging CGI is not bad. I think it's better.
I found it jarring when I saw it, but I enjoyed every aspect of this film. I thought it was a fun movie, and it's a movie that I definitely will be watching over and over again.
Interesting. So, okay. My number 8 is Black Panther. I really like Black Panther. I think the character Black Panther is one of the coolest things about Civil War. So I like Marvel, but there are characters like that up until the movies I didn't really know much about, and Black Panther was one of those. So it was cool to kind of get like a crash course on this character and see his home country Wakanda, and I think that some of the sequences in the film, especially like the chase in the cars and stuff like that, is super cool. And I also think that this movie has one of the best villains in the MCU, which is Killmonger, played by Michael B. Jordan. So yeah, I came in to Black Panther not knowing anything, and I was very pleasantly surprised by it. So yeah, that's my number 8. William.
Cool. My number 8 is Civil War.
Oh, awesome.
Speaking of Black Panther, my number 8 is Civil War.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I liked it. I mean, there are obviously things like I wish it would have, like the battle. Like we finally got the massive battle that I felt like was skipped in Civil War. We finally got it in Endgame. with like the number of superheroes that we were all hoping to see. But I mean, the movie itself is good. It touches well on. I mean, obviously, it's different than how the comics were, but the introduction of Spider-Man into the MCU,
Oh my God, it's
with
amazing.
the Avengers, which is funny because I had called it. I was sitting at Perkins on iDrive, and I was talking to a bunch of people, and they're like, "Oh, Spider-Man's never going to be in Civil War because it was owned by Fox and all this and all that." And I was like, "Dude, money talks. Spider-Man is going to be in Civil War." I got laughed at. Literally, I got laughed at that table by everybody because they're like, "Dude, you don't know how things work. You think and blah blah blah." And I'm like, "It's
You
going to be in it."
You stupid, man.
Pretty much, like, "You stupid, man. You stupid. You know what you're talking about." And then, like 6 months later, when they announced it, crickets, fucking crickets. I'm sorry, no, nothing. And I just messaged every single one of those person at that table. "I told you so." Not a response. Not one. And I'm like, that's what I fucking thought. So, and I mean, I absolutely loved it. I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man. So, yeah, that's where my Civil War lands.
Awesome.
Moving on.
7, Lewis.
Black Panther. And
wow, okay.
honestly, Brandon said it best. That is 100% on par. You brought up all the points that I thought were poignant in the film, minus the two token white guys. I loved them as well. So
you gotta admit, dude, Killmonger, like,
dude,
Michael B. Jordan's portrayal of that character he's like the most like one of the most realistic villains that you could see, and honestly, his portrayal is like phenomenal in Black Panther.
Yes, agreed 100%. So yeah.
Okay. My number 7 is Thor Ragnarok. The only Thor in my top 10. And the best. If you disagree, you are wrong. No, I'm kidding. Ragnarok is just great. It's funny. I didn't see Ragnarok in theaters. I saw it when it came on to I think I watched it in preparation for Infinity War because of course it leads straight into that. But
this movie definitely deserves to be in theaters. It's one of those theater experiences that
and when I watched it I was like, damn, it's that, bro. Thor 1, not a bad movie. The worst movie in the MCU, in my opinion, is Thor: Dark World, which is number 2. That movie's fucking atrocious. So I guess.
So all right, since you said that's your last one, let's go with our last films as well. The ones that we hate, the one that we hate the most.
Wait. So let me just finish with Ragnarok. It's funny. The sequences, like specifically the battle at the beginning with the demon guy, I forget his name, is fucking awesome. Valkyrie is a great character. So is Korg, I think is his name, the rock guy. He's fucking hilarious. And
yes, it is.
The relationship.
I remember the teapot thing.
Yeah, and the relationship between Hulk and Thor and Loki is amazing. Honestly, it's next to Guardians 1 and 2, Ragnarok is probably the most lighthearted MCU film, and it's a lot of fun. So yeah, that's why Ragnarok is my number 7. So yeah, Lewis, what's your worst one then?
Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Interesting. Wow.
My worst one, since we're touching base on it, is Winter Soldier.
What the fuck? What? You're okay. Yep. Why?
Yep.
Oh my god, spoilers. You're going to be very angry with where I place Winter Soldier.
I mean, and I'm not going to get angry. Everybody has the right
Not angry, but you're going to be pleasantly surprised where I place Winter Soldier.
I mean, the way that you've always talked about Winter Soldier, I probably put it in the top 3 with you.
It's in my top 3. I don't know how you cannot like Winter Soldier. That was the movie.
I feel like this
Winter Soldier's amazing.
So much talking and so much.
Dude, the fights between Bucky and Cap are amazing. Dude, the choreography
they are
is like
They absolutely are, but everything else to me is just like, meh.
The fucking elevator sequence in Winter Soldier? Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Well,
Like,
we'll talk about that. You'll be able to pontificate about that.
Yeah. I'm gonna shut up with your pontificate. William, what's your number 7?
If it makes you feel any better, like it's a close 21st with Dark World. So
Oh my god, but Dark World is fucking terrible, dude.
My number 7 is Iron Man 2.
Ew.
Really?
Ew. Iron Man 2 is so bad.
Fun fact, that's my number 21.
Iron Man 2 is fucking atrocious, dude.
So the whole bad guy part, I will definitely give you that it's atrocious.
Yes.
But that is not why it's that far up on my list. The reason why I have it that far up on my list is because I love how up until this moment, Tony Stark believed that his dad never loved him, that all these things about his dad, and then come to find out his dad not only did love him, but hid how he could move forward, and how, like, you see like the map of the World's Fair, and it saves his life because the whole, whatchamacallit, the his whole chest thing was like going bad and stuff.
Yeah, the heart or whatever, the reactor.
The heart. The reactor was going bad. And not only did basically his dad save him, but like he realizes that he was wrong about his dad. And to me, it was like, and the way that it was hidden and the way that he finds out, it was just, like, and then, you have like little baby Spider-Man too, which is kind of cool.
My number 6 is Marvel's The Avenger.
The first Avengers film?
Yes, the first Avengers.
Gotcha.
I really love this film. This is the perfection of actually bringing multiple characters into one film. The way they did it in this, it's hands down the best I've ever seen. They wrap up all these loose ends. They build these characters. All right, so fun fact about ensemble films. Usually ensemble films, unless they're 5-hour-long epics, then it is extremely hard to build a character and wrap up a character in one shot. Avengers does that.
That's actually my problem with most, specifically Age of Ultron. There's just way too many characters in that movie.
Exactly, and it's too difficult to do in a film. It's not a perfect medium when it comes to comic books.
Yeah.
And obviously Marvel has mastered that, and they started mastering it with Joss Whedon's script and film, because he was able to bring these stories together because he was used to that in TV. So he found a way to bring all these characters together and do that in a short time span.
Yeah. Because
he's done it before in TV already, and he had that experience to do that. And great characters come on, because come on, Firefly, that was just
Didn't he also do Buffy?
Yeah, which both of those are in my top 20 TV shows of all time. Both of them.
Okay.
So yeah.
Anything else? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's it.
Okay. My number 6 is Guardians 1. Again, like what I said about Black Panther, Guardians was one of those IPs from Marvel that I didn't really know much about, so I kind of I went into the movie like not really expecting anything, and was extremely surprised by how much I enjoyed the film. It's a lot of fun. Like Lewis said, the soundtrack is incredible, and the characters are just phenomenal. Like Rocket Raccoon, that's my buddy.
Hell yeah.
I love that character so much. And Groot is amazing. Everybody in that movie is... Guardians 1 is next to its sequel and Ragnarok, and probably Homecoming is it's probably number 1 in the most fun MCU film that just does not take itself seriously. So yeah, Guardians 1 is great. William, what is your number 6?
Well, in the interest of saving time, I'm just gonna go with what you said.
Guardians 1 also?
I have Guardians 1 also.
Awesome.
For pretty much those reasons that you said. So, moving along to the top 5.
All right, number 5.
Number 5 for me is Doctor Strange.
Oh,
It's a very unpopular opinion. But
sorry.
I love the fantasy aspect of it. I love the what do you call it? The way that they bring these kind of what do you call it? Eastern philosophies out in this film, because I'm a big strong believer in energies and chakras and all that shit. And I think
Mother
that
Gaia. Sorry.
yeah. And
Oh, by the way, if we have any pagan fans out there, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you said Mother Gaia and whatnot and chakras. Happy Beltane to
yes,
any pagan out there listening. Hope you have a good. And if you're in the southern hemisphere,
Fuck you.
well,
No, I'm kidding.
happy winter. No, it's not winter equinox. Oh my god, I can't think of the name right now. I'm such a horrible pagan. It'll come to me. But
we actually have, interestingly enough, we have Brazilian fans and South
Wow.
African.
Sweet.
Actually, yeah.
By the way, any
shout out to you guys.
When I said fuck you to anybody in the southern hemisphere, I'm just kidding. I really don't mean fuck you. Like, just, you know, I love you. I love each and every person that is listening to us. So yes.
Remove their lips from their butts now.
Lewis, go back to your number 5. So you were talking about Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah, Doctor Strange. So yeah, I love that aspect of it. I love the kind of interesting manipulations of energy and all these, like, instead of classifying as magic, they used the Eastern philosophies and they kind of merged that together, as that's what that is. It's the manipulation of energy. It might be considered magic to some, and I was like, oh, that's really, really cool, because obviously I'm a huge fan of that, and I do believe in that we're able to manipulate our energies. And just one of those things that
fucking hippie. Sorry.
No, it's true, dude. Like,
I'm kidding. I'm just pulling your leg, dude.
There's this famous video that Bruce Lee shot, and I know this sounds ridiculous because it's kung fu, but kung fu, if you look at it, it's actually a manipulation of chi. It's actually something that you could actually control and put power into the different things that you do by moving and manipulating your energy to that one spot on your body. And Bruce Lee was one of these grand masters of this. And there's a video of him where he's standing right in front of a guy. He pulls his fist back. He meditates for a minute and then punches somebody, and it throws him across the room. I mean, like, this is something that not only there's a video of it out there, but my father could actually attest, because his master, when it came to Taekwondo, it was actually there in the recorded video. Like, you could actually see him in the crowd watching this.
Interesting.
And he said that was legit. I was just blown away by that, the first thought, and then I've experienced some things that are interesting with manipulations of energy, and this film captured that so well, and it was done by such a great actor, and just a really good film for me, honestly.
Nice. My number 5 is Spider-Man Homecoming. I absolutely adore Spider-Man. He's my favorite Marvel character, and I just love Tom Holland's portrayal of Spider-Man and Peter Parker. I think he is literally the epitome of that character.
Nice.
Yeah, and Homecoming, it's not I like that it wasn't an origin story. It was a lot of fun. It was just him and his life. It wasn't this grandiose thing. It's just Spider-Man kind of just being your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And also, I loved Michael Keaton being the bad guy, Vulture. That was great. So, yeah, Homecoming was just a really pleasant surprise, and I'm very curious to see how Far From Home is now in July when that comes out. So, yeah, that's my numero 5. William, go ahead.
My number 5 is Thor Ragnarok.
Nice. Okay.
After Dark World, it was a very enjoyable film.
Yes.
Yes. I like how they. I think it was one of the funniest MCU entries, to be quite honest.
For sure, dude.
Everybody just does an incredible job. You have Hulk, the Return of the Hulk, after he had gone missing.
Yeah, you do.
End of
Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron. The camaraderie between the two of them is just, I don't know. I thoroughly enjoy. Like, I was entertained start to finish. I went into it skeptical because of Ragnarok. Not Ragnarok.
Because
sorry,
of Dark World.
Of Dark World.
Yeah.
And but it's stood the test of time. I mean, it is sad because they lose Asgard, but even in all that death, there's still humor, and and then the whole thing with the ship of Thanos that shows up, and you're like,
yep.
oh shit, it just got real. Here we go.
Honestly, Valkyrie is one of my favorite characters.
Valkyrie's amazing.
Valkyrie's
And then
fucking amazing.
You get Thor's butt too, which is like, yay for that. Thanks.
Yeah.
But yeah. So moving on.
Okay. Number 4.
Okay, so number 4 for me is Winter Soldier, and
Nice.
I know Brandon's gonna be coming up with it, so let's move on.
Okay. My number 4 is Civil War. Civil War is it's like basically Avengers 2.5. It's an Avengers film. I know it's not called
really
that,
is.
but it's an Avengers film.
Yeah.
And honestly, I just love the whole basically not fight, but like disagreement between Tony and Cap, and how it basically makes them grow apart, and everyone chooses sides, and it's a super cool story. And the fight in the airport is amazing, and also the final fight between Bucky, Cap, and Tony is amazing. I think it's one of the best fights in the MCU. Them just beating the shit out of Tony, because I'm not a huge fan of Tony Stark. Spoilers. Yeah, just great. And like William said, the introduction of Spider-Man is incredible. It's just an awesome movie. And spoilers, the rest of my list is all directed by the Russo brothers. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's cool. Get that done.
Hey
man, they're good, bro. They direct good movies. I'm sorry.
They are, and I will give that to you, and I will not take anything away from them. Like, absolutely. But again, we have to give each other shit one way or another.
Yeah, I know.
So,
What's your number 4, you piece of shit?
Yeah, seriously.
I'm kidding, dude.
the fuck is my number 4? Oh, Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Hey, okay. So you rated it 1 above what I did. Okay.
I did because I was a Maguire fan through and through. I loved him.
You gotta love you gotta love Peter Parker looking 30 years old, bro. You gotta love it.
Oh, that was great. Sorry, I had to.
But I mean, like, literally, like, up until the whole number 3 happened, I did enjoy. I mean, Peter Parker was pretty much my first Spider-Man for live action Spider-Man.
You mean Tobey Maguire, not Peter Parker?
Yeah, Peter Parker was my first Spider-Man.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. But what the hell? I love the embodiment. I love what Tom Holland does with it. A lot of us were very skeptical because of the whole fiasco with Garfield. Tom Holland made us believe again. Thank God for that. Thank you, Tom.
Yes.
And
I liked Andrew Garfield. Fuck you guys.
I do too.
I do too.
Nothing against.
Just Incredible Spider-Man 2 sucked, and it killed it for him, and I feel bad for him because I think that as much as he was kind of like an emo Peter Parker, he did a good job with it. So it sucks that number 2 basically cost him the role for number 3, but it is what it is. But like you said before, Holland embodies Tobey Maguire at its best. And just seeing and how he did it, and also.
All right, so can you say
He's like interchanging names at this point. He's like, Tom Holland embodies Tobey Maguire. That's an actor, embodying
Okay.
another actor.
So
And I like how he built his rapport with Tony Stark. That one.
Yeah, I do too.
fun fact, my number 3 is Spider-Man Homecoming.
He can't English either. All right, cool. Moving on.
Okay.
Why is it number 3?
I love this movie. It
Okay.
is
Amazing.
extremely fun movie. This honestly, this made me come back to the MCU.
Come on.
I was honestly just done with the MCU. I was like, all right, I'm really just tired of these movies. And I didn't watch like 3 of them in theaters because of that. I was just like, I don't care. I really don't care anymore. And then all this hype about Homecoming, I was like, all right, I gotta go. One of my friends forced me to go. I ended up going to watch it. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah, Homecoming is so much fun.
It's just fun. It honestly feels like a roller coaster ride, and the Spider-Man franchise is one of my favorites, honestly. And I was never a Spider-Man fan of the animated series and all that stuff. I was never a fan.
Fucking dare you!
I know. That's blasphemy because you used to watch it obsessively.
Dude,
but
that and X-Men? Oh my God.
I've always been an X-Men person. That's my number. That's like top 5 TV shows, definitely.
This man always has to put a number behind something. Just talk about Spider-Man.
All right, so yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
That's it.
My number 3 is Infinity War. Infinity War, coming from somebody that had read the comic book before watching the movie, I was like, oh, how are they going to do this? Specifically with there not being as many superheroes in the MCU because, they don't have X-Men and whatnot. But I was pleasantly surprised. Thanos is probably the most fleshed out and best villain that the MCU has. And the entire movie is just this roller coaster of them just getting their fucking ass handed to them. And I'm honestly a fan of the bad guy winning sometimes. And Infinity War blew me away I did not expect it to end like that badly. So, and it left me wanting more. So, yeah, sorry, not Civil War. Infinity War was amazing. Thanos was great. And, yeah, I just wanted to watch the sequel. So, yeah. What's your number 3?
Infinity War was like, if you ever had a doubt that Marvel had a fuck your feelings kind of like thing, this was it. It was like, oh, yeah, okay, so they don't give a shit about my feelings because damn.
Yeah.
Just damn. Okay.
Yeah.
My number 3 is the original Avengers.
Okay.
The first one.
Okay.
At the time, it was what we all thought was going to be like the end all of what, like everybody coming together and the movie we'd all been waiting for. I liked how they went about it. I liked how they did the whole, bringing them together in New York. And it was an introduction of Loki, but it was like Loki just creating a whole bunch of havoc for everybody. Mm-hmm. So, and I liked it. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was kind of like the first time where I was like, I really stood up and cheered. I'm like, oh, nice. They're all together. They are the Avengers. So
that's awesome.
I just farted, just FYI, and I hope that my mic picked it up so that when Lewis is like editing this, he hears it. Because, man, that would be amazing. What's your number 2, Lewis?
My number 2, and this is going to be very controversial, I think.
Oh, God.
Ant-Man.
Oh, okay.
I love Paul Rudd. He's just fucking awesome in this movie. He's just brilliant in this movie, honestly. I really, really enjoy his character in this. He's fucking fun as hell. He has like this charisma about him that surpasses any of the other characters in the MCU, in my opinion.
Ant-Man was the hardest, my most difficult choice rating it. It's not in my top 10, unfortunately, but I was like very close to putting it in the top 10. Because, man, Ant-Man is really good. And Ant-Man and the Wasp is not a bad sequel either.
Oh, it's really good.
Yeah, they're both really good.
But it is miles apart from the first one, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I really love the chemistry between all the actors in this film. It feels authentic. It feels like an actual interest, and that's one of the only origin stories where I actually gave a shit about all the characters involved. It's honestly the only origin story that I actually gave a shit about all the characters, including the main character. And just it had this grandiose but simple but very down to earth story, and I just felt like it was real. And that's the same thing as Homecoming. It just felt very real, very homey, very kind of like, oh, this is not this the world is going to end moment, you know. It's not that, which the stakes are very low, and that allures me a lot in these films.
Nice.
So yeah.
My number 2 is Endgame. It might change later on down the line, but for now, I think Endgame is it blew me away with every single expectation that I had. There were things that happened in the film that I never expected would ever happen. It was a fun ride, and honestly, also, it's the end of an era. Honestly, I could totally see them saying, like, I know it's not going to happen, but I could totally see them being like, hey, Endgame is the end of the MCU, and I'd be like, I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that.
Not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen, but I would be totally okay if Endgame was the end.
No, they're gonna milk that cow till it
fuck yeah,
bone dry.
Yeah. And I maybe in the future I'll group together Infinity War and Endgame together because I feel like they're a complete package together. But yeah, Endgame is amazing. I'm gonna go see it for the second time this coming weekend, so I'm excited because there are scenes in that movie that I want to experience again in a theater with a group of people that enjoy those movies. So yeah, Endgame is a lot of fun. William.
Sweet.
Number 2.
Well, looks like we agreed on 2 things.
Hey, Endgame is your number 2 also?
And Endgame is my number 2. I think it's an incredible way to end everything. I think that they did an amazing job with it. I mean, obviously, just like every other movie, it has its little problems, but for the most part, it does what it needs to do. It made us cheer. It made us cry. It made us, like you said, wonder what's coming next.
Yeah.
And, I mean, when spoilers start coming out, we talk more in depth with it. We're going to be able to talk more freely about why it is where it is. But for now and where we stand, pretty much for the reasons that you said is where I stand as well.
Nice. So what is your number 1, Lewis?
Oh, you guys are going to... I don't know how you guys are going to take this one.
Scared.
So my number 1 is... It's the most fun movie.
Here we go. Lewis tries to set up a scene, paint a scene for us, and then at the last 30 seconds he tells us. I'm kidding.
So it has the best villain I've ever seen in a comic book movie ever. No, sorry, second, because anyways,
out, man.
The graphics in this film are just I fell in love with the fantasy aspect of it. It is something out of this world, the way that they portray this. I've never seen CGI as beautiful as I saw it in this film, other than like What Dreams May Come, when I saw all those colors and all these different... Dude, it was fucking beautiful.
I hate you so
on
much.
The screen. I saw this in theaters, and
just say the fucking movie.
This soundtrack is just something completely as well that I adore. It is in my top 50 movies of all time.
Oh
and
my god!
Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, okay, cool.
I stole that shit for Thor Ragnarok. It's a great movie, but god damn, son.
All right.
Yeah, that is my number 1.
My number one, if the listeners haven't guessed by now, and if you guys haven't guessed by now, is Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier was the movie that changed my opinion about MCU. I was like indifferent about the MCU up until that point. Don't get me wrong, like I had enjoyed films like The Avengers and stuff like that, but Winter Soldier, I remember just like going on a whim to a theater with my friend, and we were like, let's just watch Winter Soldier, and we both came out of it like, holy shit, dude, like what the fuck did we just watch? Everything, the fights between Bucky and Cap are amazing. The choreography it feels visceral, like, oh man, everything, like the elevator scene, finding out that S.H.I.E.L.D. is actually Hydra, everything, and basically introducing Bucky, who would be, or not introducing, but bringing him back as the Winter Soldier, and which would set up a bunch of things like Civil War and whatnot. Winter Soldier, yeah, it's an amazing film, and as much as I love Endgame and Infinity War, I still think Winter Soldier is the best MCU film. So,
yeah, okay. They're right to be wrong. It's all good.
Shut the fuck up. What's your number one?
My number one is the only movie that could ever be number one because it's the movie that fucking started it all.
Yeah.
It's the movie. I've been an Iron Man fan from the start. See, unlike your dumbass cousin, though, I tell you right away what it is. It's not a fucking eulogy.
You know, nothing against Iron Man 1. I find that movie to be boring as fuck.
I mean, is it like the best MCU movie ever made and whatnot? I mean,
hey, it's your number one, so
But it's my number one because to me, it's like, A, I'm an Iron Man fan. B, I've always loved Robert Downey Jr. So just the two alone together, it's like, holy shit, match made in heaven. Anyone? Yes, please. But I love how his embodiment, like some actors, you can see like how their same character grows over the span of a trilogy or whatever the fuck else they have, right?
Yeah.
He hasn't really changed. He's always been Tony Stark. Like, from the beginning, RDJ is like, I'm Iron Man, and he's got the Iron Man attitude and personality and everything, and it's just like, it's kick-ass. It's just, like to put it bluntly, and to put it in South Park terms, it's kick-ass, dude. Tell you kick-ass.
Dude, you know what's funny? We each chose each of the three main characters in the movies.
Yeah, we did.
We each got one of them.
That's true.
You got Ant-Man. Ant-Man's not really...
No,
Thor.
Thor? He chose Thor, I chose Captain America, you chose Iron Man.
That is very true.
Yeah. Interesting.
Patterns, buddies. Patterns.
All right, anything else you want to add, William, or are you done sucking off Iron Man over here?
Wow.
Sorry.
Wow.
Sorry.
No love, no respect. Whatever, dude.
Sorry.
Whatever.
Okay, since you guys didn't finish off your list, I'm going to finish off mine. 11 is Avengers Infinity War. Number 12, Civil War. 13, Ant-Man and the Wasp. 14, Iron Man. 15, The First Avenger. 16, Guardians of the Galaxy. Iron Man 3 is number 17. Incredible Hulk is number 18. Thor is number 19. Thor Dark World is 20. Iron Man 2 is 21. And Age of Ultron 22.
Interesting. All right, guys. So thank you for joining us for the massive intro sequence. Jesus Christ. We've been recording for 45 minutes. Kill me.
Yep.
Stay tuned after this quick little break when we come at you with our new, not so new segment, The Movie Bucket
Not
List.
live.
Fuck you. It's never live. How dare you. All right, guys, welcome back for the new segment, not so new, The Movie Bucket List, where William brings us one movie from these posters he has, and we discuss between ourselves if it should or should not be on this list. And it's always a surprise to Lewis and myself. So, William, what is the movie this week, buddy? Old pal.
Well, given the fact that today is May 3rd, means that tomorrow is what?
May the 4th.
God damn it.
Exactly, and may the fourth be with you too. This week's entry is not one, not two, but three actual
Oh
movies
my god.
because they have it clumped. And we haven't done this yet because most of the movies have been like single entries.
Yes.
But the Star Wars trilogy is this week's movie of choice.
So we're talking A New
We're
Hope,
talking New Hope, we're talking Empire, and we're talking
Return of the Jedi. Okay.
Yes.
Not Return of the Muppets.
Not Return of...
Even though you could easily mistake it for that.
No, you could not.
Sure. You keep telling yourself that, buddy. You keep telling yourself that.
I bet if they were walking around Endor trying to drop a fucking ring in some fucking volcano, he'd like it.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. I love Star Wars, and those three movies, specifically Empire, dear God, they are so good. And I feel like they revolutionized like just special effects and stuff like that. I think they're very important films to that, and also just like science fiction in general. You know, that and like Star Trek, they're super important. So,
how much pop culture has come from even just the first one alone? But yeah, let's talk in the trilogy thing.
Yeah.
Like so much pop culture, so much parody, so much
Spaceballs.
Right? I mean, and granted, like Carrie Fisher and
Mark Hamill,
and,
Harrison Ford, like
Jesus.
No, Jesus didn't come out of there.
He might have. Jesus might have been Palpatine.
The Force is a religion. The Force is a religion, man.
Jesus might have been Emperor Palpatine, okay?
And we lost our Christian population there.
I'm kidding.
There they go. Okay, goodbye, Bible belts.
Goodbye, Bible belts.
No, dude, like...
I love how they call it a Bible belt, but Jesus never wore a belt.
One, like, the specific scene that always stands out to me in A New Hope is the scene when Luke is...
Fuck A New Hope.
No, it's a good movie. It's definitely the worst of the three. Shut your whore mouth. Let me talk.
Yeah, it is.
Did you say New Hope is the worst of the three?
Yes, it definitely is.
Definitely
is.
New Hope picks it all off.
It doesn't matter, but Empire and Return are much better movies. Like,
especially Empire.
Yeah, especially Empire. But what I was saying about A New Hope, like the sequence when he's like looking at the two suns on Tatooine, and like the music flares, like John Williams' score flares up, and oh man, that scene is fucking awesome. I love that shit.
You mean the scene from Hidden Fortress? Yeah. Okay.
We all know that it's... Bro, do you know that nothing is original anymore in this world?
No, but when you take the story and shot by shot shoot the best scenes in the film, exactly like Kurosawa did, and you take the special effects and you say that they were your own and that you invented these special effects for the longest time. Sorry guys, I love the soundtrack.
One day,
the soundtrack.
Somebody's gonna come out.
I hate him.
And he's going to have full proof that Tolkien stole every idea of Lord of the Rings from him. And I'm going to sit back and I'm going to laugh so hard and be like, I'm going to
Tolkien did
remember this moment.
He stole a lot. And I don't give him a pass for that. I just think that he took a different approach to it, which is completely more respectable than completely ripping off another artist and saying that it's your own. Because of that, George Lucas in my book is one of the worst people in film industry.
I'm not passing him for that. I just think that it's a beautiful scene. Like, you know, Luke is like, Luke is coming from a character also like it's anyone can relate to him. He's a person that is lost, doesn't know what they want to do with their life, and is just, you know, contemplating like, holy shit, like, am I gonna amount to anything on this fucking ass backwards planet in the middle of nowhere? You know, so
that whole sunset sequence is fucking beautiful.
Yes, it is. It's a beautiful.
It is extremely beautifully shot.
I like A New Hope, but it's definitely not a great movie. Like, George Lucas can't direct. He's not a good director. That's why
yeah.
Empire and Return are so much better, because they're directed by two other directors, and they're also
Exactly.
written by two guys.
And I mean, all right, so the acting in the first one is atrocious. Mark Hamill can't act for shit unless he has a director telling him. Because my God, that man was zero emotion,
God, he was pretty,
zero
though.
emotion whatsoever. And Carrie Fisher was the only one that could control and do what they needed to do.
Hey, Mark Hamill was a pretty boy, though. My man was pretty.
It doesn't mean that he could act.
No, they can't. Unfortunately, like,
And
it's...
and the great thing about acting, though, is that if you go through experienced directors, you could learn to act. Jack Nicholson did that. He was a horrible actor when he first started off. You watch his movies and you're like, oh God, that is god awful. But he progressed, and you could tell that he progressed each film.
Yeah.
And then he made classics after that, and he's become one of these like icons of cinema. So now this trilogy definitely 100% deserves to be on the list.
Oh, hell yeah.
100%.
Dude, like...
I will never take that away. And honestly, the trilogy for me, if I group them all together, they are in my top 25 of all time movies.
Dude, if there's one like thing in cinema history that I fucking wish I could have experienced in a theater, not knowing, if I could have been in a theater in 1980 and experienced Vader telling Luke that he's his dad, holy shit. That probably would have blown my fucking, like, however old I was mind, you know? Like,
yeah.
That is probably, like, one of the most iconic scenes in film history. It's something that's been parodied.
Yes.
Like, it,
do you feel that, like, the Luke, no, Luke, I am your father thing?
That's actually not how he says it. I forgot how he says it.
No, I am your father. No, it goes like, no, I am your father.
Yeah, something like that.
That's how he says it. But has there ever been, or do you think there will ever be a movie which is going to have that big of a secret that you're holding? Like, for example, like we've all seen Endgame.
Yes.
Right? And right now that's like the biggest movie there is, and everybody's like, keep the secrets and whatnot.
The thing is
there anything in Endgame that you think is at the level of, no, I am your father?
No, and it's not just the level, but unfortunately we live in a day and age where any three of us right now could go on social media, post a spoiler, and some asshole in Iowa that hasn't seen the movie can come across our post, and we've literally ruined it for him. Now, travel back to 1980... There's no
You had the troll standing outside of the...
Yeah. If you're not a troll standing outside of a theater telling everybody, like, Vader's his dad, you're not going to know, you know?
Dude, there's a funny article about that, actually, that some guy actually got into a major brawl to the point where he was literally, like, almost beaten close to death by a group of people that were standing and waiting.
Yeah.
And, my God.
That was in Singapore.
Was it?
Because they don't fuck around in Singapore. They're like, we told you on Facebook, if you're gonna spoil it, we're gonna kill you, and you spoiled it, so now we're gonna kill you. But yes, I definitely read that. There's actually a funny clip.
No. I was talking about Star Wars.
Oh no!
Empire Strikes Back. There was a group of people standing outside of a theater, and they got mugged basically by a mob because they spoiled the end of the movie. People actually got into brawls and stuff like that.
Like going back to Endgame, like mind you, I watched the movie by myself, but even if I'd watched it with somebody else, bro, like people were shouting and stuff, and I'm like, dude, like quiet down, dude. There are people coming into the theater right now. Like, let them experience this. Like, don't ruin it for them, you know?
Yeah, that's why I'm always very careful what I talk about. When I talk to the person I went with.
Yeah, it's like, goddamn, shut the fuck up or talk lower. God, it's like. People want to experience, like, I wouldn't want that movie ruined for me, you know?
I'm that asshole that will stand up and say, shut the fuck up in the movie theater.
Oh, yeah, I know. You're like my dad. My dad is the same way. My dad's like, shut the fuck up.
Cállate, cabrón! No, there's actually a very funny clip of an interview with Mark Hamill on what's that British show that everybody goes on now?
Fucking the talk show you're talking about?
Yeah, the talk show that like there's like clips all over the fucking internet now.
Yeah, it's a bunch of Doctor Who people have been on it. Lewis, you've probably seen it on Facebook or something. It's the Norton Graham show.
Norton Graham show.
Yeah, okay.
And they're talking about like his impression of Harrison Ford, right? And he's like, does he like your impression? And he talks about how when they were filming that specific scene, they filmed it, but the script said something completely different. The original script,
but
was
what
that
scene? I'm sorry.
Vader,
from
the Luke, I am your father.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Paraphrasing, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But the scene was that Vader tells him that Kenobi killed his father.
Interesting.
And then after they film it, the directors go into his camper, and they tell him, well, we're going to let you in on a secret. And they had it like on this little piece of paper, and they showed it to him. And they told him, now 3 people in this world know. George Lucas knows it. I know it. This was the director.
Yeah.
Now you know it. If anybody spills, we know who it was.
Interesting.
So there were only 3 people while they were filming this that knew the truth. And then when the premiere is when the cast found out, because apparently Carrie Fisher was not the best person to tell your secrets to. Like if you wanted to tell something very fast to people, you would tell Carrie, because he goes telephone, telegraph, telecarry. And Harrison Ford turns around and looks at him and goes, "You didn't tell me about that," like in his very Harrison Ford voice.
Yeah.
Which I thought was funny. But apparently even back then there was chances of spoils to where they were taking precautions. And I can only imagine trying to film something like Star Wars of that caliber now.
Dude.
Oh my God, thank God. Good luck.
Well, they did it with Endgame, like specifically Tom Holland, who's known to spoil things. Like they literally, they only gave him lines where he was in scenes that he was in. I think he filmed scenes by himself sometimes.
Yeah, he did.
Like it was like ridiculous. Like they weren't playing around
And
with Endgame.
that's what I was saying earlier about.
Which I'm wondering how they filmed the last scene with Tom Holland, because that must have been really hard to try and sell them on how to act on it.
I don't know, man. God, they're actors. They'll figure it out, I guess. Maybe one of the Russo brothers stood in.
Express sadness.
Yeah, express it. But yeah. So what were you saying, Lewis? That you were talking about?
That's why I was saying that Tom Holland had this lost look on his face because he didn't know half the script, and they made a meme about it, and he responded. He's like, "I didn't know half the things that were going on." So yeah, I had a lost face on.
But yeah, going back to Star Wars, Empire's amazing. We get fan favorite Boba Fett. We get the I'm Your Father. The bad guys win. It ends on a downer, and then we get Return of the Jedi, which, we get
my favorite.
We get emo Luke with his green lightsaber now, and honestly, we get one of my favorite fights, which is when he fights Vader in the Death Star. I love that fight so much.
That is pretty badass. Yes, I love everything about Return of the Jedi, with the exception of the Ewoks.
I don't care. I don't really mind the Ewoks. I don't.
I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why are these little furry things? What?
Because that's what I don't get about you, Lewis. It's a fucking science fiction movie series.
Science fiction.
Science fiction. Oh wow, you're making fun of how I talk now. Damn, dude, we've gotten to that level. It's a science fiction movie series, and you can't believe that a planet has little like teddy bears on it.
Oh, I do believe it. It's just annoying.
Oh, okay. I'm just like, okay, that's funny. All right.
I just find it annoying. That's all.
Okay. Honestly, yeah, I think that all 3 of these movies are super important. I think that they should definitely be on this list. Yeah, and it started a phenomenon, basically, as we're seeing now. Phenomena. And we got 3 shitty prequels, except like maybe Revenge of the Sith, but that's like the only good one.
No.
What the fuck is a youngling?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
The fuck is a youth?
That will forever go down as one of my best theater moments ever. That was just
I like Revenge of the Sith for what it is because of like story purposes. You know, we see how Anakin turns into Vader and whatnot, but there are definitely things that were done in that film that like that I'm like, how as a director do you think that is good? How did you shoot that scene and you were like, you know what? Yeah, that's a good take. That's definitely a good take. No, that's just horrible. So
agreed.
Yeah, honestly, the original trilogy, amazing. If you've never seen it, shame on you. Go watch it.
Shame.
If you're a science fiction fan of anything, go watch Star Wars. You know, if you've never seen it, then shame on you. I think we all unanimously agree. I know Lewis agreed. William, did you agree with us that it should be on the list?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Oh yeah. Sound like you were like.
Oh yeah.
Sound like you were like fucking rubbing one out or something, dude. That was weird.
Maybe I am.
Jesus.
Oh god, I really don't know.
Woo! All right, guys. So stay tuned after this quick break when we come at you with our final segment this week because we're running a little late. The main live. Thank you. I was about to forget. I almost forgot.
A little late.
Our main review, which is Highlander, however the hell you say it. I'm sorry. Hey guys, so we recorded our episode a couple days ago, and this hadn't occurred, but unfortunately we got news today that Peter Mayhew has passed away. He is the actor that portrayed Chewbacca in the original Star Wars trilogy. So
the sequels, the prequels, and Force Awakens, I believe, as well.
Did he do it in the prequels? I'm not sure if he did.
Yeah, he did the prequels.
Okay, so
he was in He was in episode 4, 5, and 6, and then he was Chewbacca in episode 3, and then episode 7, and then he overlooked the new Chewbacca.
Gotcha.
In Return of the Jedi.
So.
Yes.
We don't normally do this, but I guess since we did the original trilogy for this week's bucket list, we decided, to pay our respects to Peter Mayhew for bringing us, what I think is one of the most beloved characters in Star Wars.
100%. Agree. And that's the problem. We didn't even mention Chewie at all in any way or form. So that was kind of like, I can't believe we didn't bring up Chewie, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that by doing this, we're kind of correcting that and also paying our respects to a phenomenal character actor.
Yeah, so I honestly don't know what else to say. I don't know if you guys want to say any more. All I wanted to say was... No, you're good. All I wanted to say was, may he rest in peace wherever he may be, and thank you for being, Chewie, who is everybody's best friend,
Yeah, I just think it's very fitting the way it happened. I think that he's been suffering for a very long time, unfortunately, because of his size, and because of that, obviously there are implications in his body and everything, and that's what led to his demise, unfortunately. But the fact that it falls on this week, I think, is kind of a tribute that, and I'm going to coin a phrase, he is strong with the Force.
There he is.
And I definitely think that he deserves our respect because he definitely got me into the original trilogy. It was his character in Han that just awesome. Yeah. I fell in love with the movies as a kid.
Yeah.
And I really think that walking carpet. Yep.
Yeah,
that's
really
right.
Is. He really is a walking carpet. William, do you want to say anything before we wrap this up?
I mean, it is a big loss. I got to meet him a few years ago when they were still doing Disney weekends.
Okay.
I think it was like that. It was actually the last year that they were doing Disney weekends, and I never realized how tall he really was because
like 7 something, right?
I posted a picture. Yeah, I'll post a picture to the page as well. I took a picture with him, and we're the same height in the picture. He's sitting.
Yeah.
So yeah, like he you know, it's never easy for not just an actor but like a person when you get to be like a certain height, and you get all sorts of complications. You get like weaker bones and whatnot. But he he was not. I think like he wasn't feeling good, or he was going through something. I don't know what it was, but something was going on. But he, unlike a lot of other people, he didn't cancel. He didn't speak much, but he didn't cancel because the family released the eulogy. He was always for the fans. He loved the fandom. He loved what he did. He loved what he brought, and he will be sorely missed. He's one of the what can we call it? Like the original four between Han's of the original four guy. Han, Luke, Leia, Chewie.
Yeah.
So he's
Definitely.
now Carrie Fisher.
Yep. Yeah. Now
And he's honestly passed on the torch of Chewie to a phenomenal actor as well that is as giving and as caring of the fans as he was. So I definitely think that he was waiting for that. He waited for somebody that could replace him in that role because obviously his health was diminishing and was not able to play that role. But they found such a phenomenal person and such a great humanitarian, honestly, that is willing to jump into those shoes that he left because they're very large shoes. No pun intended.
Oh my God. Can we not? God damn it, man. Sorry.
No, but I mean,
Fuck. God.
come on. When you're talking about an actor that has brought so much fun and so much cheer to your life, just being doom and gloom about him passing is not the way I think he would want us to celebrate him. He would want us to joke and make jokes, not in obviously in distaste about him, which it wasn't, but it was more like let's make people laugh. I mean that's what it's all about, guys. It's all about that, and the fact that he impacted so many people. And yes, it's a very sad moment, but let's also celebrate his life. Let's celebrate all the amazing things that he did, the amazing movies that he gave us. Like, they live on nowadays, and they've crossed over multiple generations. As much shit as I give Star Wars, it is really a phenomenal franchise, and I like Harry Potter. I don't pay its dues until something like this occurs. The same thing with Alan Rickman. Honestly, I paid mad respect to him and everything that Harry Potter represented because, honestly, it's the same thing. It brought people together. Star Wars is one of those fandoms that brings people together, and that's what he represents. And I definitely wanted to pay my respect to him this week.
So, those were our 2 cents on his passing. And as cheesy as it sounds, may the Force be with him wherever he is in the afterlife. And we'll see you guys on the next episode of Manbitesfilm. What is up? I don't know why I started like that. Hi, welcome back. You threw me off, damn it. You threw me off.
Like what the hell? Like, are we starting over?
No. Welcome back to the final segment of our show, the main review this week, because we're running a little late. Live, that's Highlander, my choice. There can only be one.
Only one.
with Queen in the back. Everything is Queen in that movie.
Yeah.
And honestly,
It's like they only paid to have like 2 songs. And they kept repeating the goddamn songs.
yeah, and
Oh my god.
one
it
of the
was
best characters in any movie ever, played by none other than Sean fucking Connery.
Connery.
We got Juan Sanchez Villalobos Ramirez. What a name.
We have Juan Sanchez that is this freaking Spanish name, and then you have this Irish person playing it, or Scottish person.
Scottish.
Or fuck it is.
Yeah, he's Scottish.
So, and then the funny thing is, it takes place in Scotland. It's like, huh?
So,
Well, it's a fucking Frenchman. It's got the lead role, isn't it?
no,
Yeah.
no, actually, Christopher Lambert is American, if I'm not mistaken.
No, actually, he's
No.
Belgian.
Oh no,
Belgian.
sorry, he is a French, but he was born here in the United States, but he's actually French. You are correct. My apologies. So basically, Highlander is a movie about this man by the name of Connor MacLeod. What a fucking name! Fun fact.
So we have a Frenchman playing a Scotsman. We have a Scotsman playing a Spaniard.
Yes.
And we have a Spaniard playing a Scotsman.
Fun fact: the Miyamoto or somebody in Nintendo named Fox McCloud after Connor MacLeod from this movie because they thought his name sounded super
Please tell
cool.
me somebody in casting got fired for this, though. Like,
Yeah, seriously.
Probably.
like it's like, okay, we have 3 roles. We have 2 Scottish roles, and we have a Spanish role. We also have Sean Connery. Oh, we shall give him the Spanish role because
So
fuck him. It's like,
so
okay.
Highlander is basically about this Scottish guy, Connor MacLeod, that finds out that he is immortal. And basically his life, and he finds out that he, at one point, all the other immortals in the world will get, basically, they'll get, like, attracted to a place. They'll all go to one place, which is New York City, and they will all have to kill each other, and one of them...
Of course, it's New York City.
Of course, New York City. And one of them will survive and get what is called the gift. The gift. So, I love this movie. This movie's not great, but there's something just oddly just cheesy and B-movie about it, but it's so fantastic.
Yeah, I agree.
The antagonist, which is played by none other than Clancy Brown, the Kurgan. God, that guy's creepy look. Why is Clancy Brown so, like, creepy looking? Why? My man just looks odd. Like, you look at him and you're like, oh my god, I would not want my child around you. Like, you guys agree, right?
Hello, I am here to babysit. No, you're
No,
not.
you're not. Yeah.
The fuck, you're not.
No, everything.
Yeah.
Dude, the cinematography, like when they're the training montages of Sean Connery with fucking what's this guy's name? With Christopher Lambert when they're in Scotland, like training and stuff. It's beautiful, dude. The scenery is.
So the stuff that they actually filmed in Scotland is fucking amazing. That is the best part of the movie. The rest of the movie, it feels like I didn't actually get a chance to research this, but I'm wondering, they didn't film this in 35 millimeter. I really don't think so.
Yes, they did.
Did they?
Yes, they did. So fun fact, and I'm really fucking pissed that I didn't go see this. As I've said on the show before, there is a local theater here by the name of the Coral Gables Cinema, and they like to bring 35 millimeters. They brought Highlander 35 millimeter because
that just means that there's a transfer to a 35.
So the guy, the guy that works there, who's like super knowledgeable and he knows all about this stuff, said that there are very few in existence, and because of somebody's donation, like an anonymous donation, they were actually able to bring this film, and he said that it's like super hard to come by in 35 millimeter. So, and I wasn't able to go, unfortunately, which I'm kicking myself in the ass for. I wish I was able to see it, but yeah. So to answer your question, yes, they did film this in 35 millimeter.
It's just the film quality is really, really bad. It looks really, really bad, the transfer. I don't know why it is, but it really is. It looks weird. There's So I'm wondering if it's reversible film or something like that.
My favorite, how shitty some of the effects in this film are. There's a scene where Connor cuts the Kurgan's neck, and then later on in the film, he has this really shitty, like you could tell it's like a prosthetic on his neck to make it look like he got cut, and there's like safety pins holding his neck together. Yeah. And I'm just like, what? This is so bad looking. Also, my biggest gripe with the film is why does he end up with the girl?
I don't know.
It's like they were, this is an 80s film, so they're filming and they're like, all right, we gotta have a quota of like side tit and sex. All right, they gotta kiss even though they barely know each other. There's absolutely no reason for them to like each other romantically. I'm not saying it's just I watched it recently, I guess, because I picked it.
It felt forced.
Yeah,
yes.
I watched it and I was like, I don't remember this. And then when it happened, I was like, why is this happening? It feels so forced. So yeah, that was my biggest gripe with the movie. And of course, a Scottish guy playing a Spaniard.
That's honestly the biggest thing that threw me for the movie. I'm like, what?
So dumb.
It's just like, huh?
Also, there are just scenes that don't make any sense, like when he talks to, when Connor talks to his friend, the black guy, the other immortal guy. Do you remember that they're in like Central Park and they talk to each other?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's absolutely no fucking point to that scene, and like they show that character once, and then the next time you see him, he's fighting the Kurgan and getting his ass decapitated. Like, that's, I don't know. It's just little things like that.
Yeah, this was actually shot on 35. Holy fuck.
Yeah. I've actually never. Have you guys ever seen the other ones? I've never seen any of the sequels.
Yeah, I have. I've seen all of them. I enjoy this franchise and
I
the
think
TV
I
show.
saw 2.
I've heard 2 is like, isn't 2 really weird, and it kind of like
it gets trippy as fuck.
Like, don't they basically? It's they fuck up the continuity or something like that.
Yes.
Like they retcon a bunch of stuff from the original movie.
A bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, and Sean Connery supposedly comes back. I don't know how, but
yeah, pretty
yeah.
much.
It's like, wait, what? Yeah, you were saying, Lewis.
So, and also the TV series, which was pretty awesome. That ran for like 6 years, I think.
There's a TV series, really?
Yep.
Well, I mean, there's one going on right now, but he's talking about like Renegade that was on the USA for a while.
No, Highlander.
Yeah, wasn't it like Highlander Renegade?
No, Highlander, 1992 to 98.
Oh yeah.
It's this guy that looks like freaking John Clan, whatever the
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Jean-Claude Van Damme, you ignorant swine.
You ignorant piece of shit. Honestly, it's a fun movie. It's nothing out of this world. It's definitely a cult classic. If you want to see Scottish guys and weird, not really Spaniard, but Spaniard guys be immortals, fucking sword fight each other, you got a movie on your hands.
Amazon Prime. All right.
Yeah. Wait, what's Amazon Prime?
It's on Amazon Prime.
It's also on Netflix.
What?
Highlander?
The movie? It's also on Hulu.
It's not on Netflix.
It's on. It's on Hulu. It's Hulu. That's where I watched it. Hulu.
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime too.
Oh, I didn't know that because I watched it on Hulu. Yeah, honestly, I would give Highlander a solid like 6.5, 7.
I agree.
Yeah, sounds about right.
6.5 for me.
Yeah.
So,
it's definitely a fun film, and yeah, it's you get what you get. It's nothing out of this world. All right, so William, it is your turn this week. What is the movie?
Do we all have Shudder?
No, but I guess we can. use somebody's Shudder in case.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll use Lewis's Shudder. Just what's the movie?
The movie I decided to pick is going to be. It's called Revenge.
Ah, yes.
Revenge.
Yes. Oh, this is good. All right. Have you seen it already, William?
Yeah. It is graphic.
Yes,
I'm letting you know, but it is a very good movie. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I
It's-
mean, it speaks for itself. It's about revenge. I'm not gonna
Okay,
give
so
anything more away.
I don't know what the movie's about, but the first thing that it says here on Google when you when I looked up revenge, it says it's a 2017 French rape and revenge action horror movie.
Yeah, it does have subtitles.
No, but
But the thing is that there is not a lot of dialogue at all.
I just got what Brandon's trying to say. He's like, "Is this irreversible?"
yeah, I'm
all over
like,
again?
what? Okay. No, it's probably not. Nothing is like irreversible. That movie is God Almighty.
But FYI, the times of irreversible and anti.
Oh no! Don't Antichrist are coming back?
Oh yeah.
Oh no! Be a merciful
Yes.
God, you piece of shit, please.
They are returning
No! Oh my God, William, get ready.
What am I?
Get ready.
because William hasn't suffered through this yet, so he must.
William does not need to suffer through shit.
I agree, dude. I wholeheartedly agree.
William is a 2-time cancer survivor. William has suffered enough. No more making William suffer.
I wholeheartedly agree. All right, so
See, it's a vote. We fuck.
Yay.
Fuck. All right, so for next week, we got Revenge. Sorry for cutting it short this week, which we didn't do our individual reviews, but the show was pretty long, so we were like, we'll do it this way this week. So next week we'll be back to our regular programming. Yes. So as always, if you enjoyed our shows, check out everybody else and our other shows like Man Bites Retro, Candlelit Blowjobs. We got Nisha, our nerd mom over at Diversely Geek, and of course we have John on Narcotic Casserole on YouTube. Thank you, William.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Lewis.
Thank you, Brandon.
I am Brandon, and we will see you guys on the next episode of